Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the MAP, the Mental Health and Addiction Podcast. My name is Andy Bernstein, and we started this podcast to join the fight around ending the stigma around addiction and mental health. I got to tell you, I love the music going in. I think we need to change the song, but Willie, my co-host and friend, is joining us as always. Who are you, sir?
Who am I? Existential crisis during COVID.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I am a person in long-term recovery, 35 years now. I'm an educator at UMass Boston in the Addiction Counseling Education Program. My area of expertise is addiction with co-occurring disorders. In other words, addiction coupled to other mental health issues. And I'm an educator for UMass in the Addiction Counseling Program, and I have a private practice up in Beverly, which at this point in time it's been all teletherapy since last, the end of last April, the beginning of May.
You're a man everywhere now, teletherapy, but God forbid if any of your clients tell you they're in another place, then you can't talk to them, right? If they say,
if they were out of state, I wouldn't be able to, depending upon the state, I have reciprocity with, although in the COVID times, like if, even though my license is Massachusetts, if it's someone in New York, I can be allowed because of the pandemic to connect with them still. So there's certain states.
What are you you're like a mortgage lender? You
get reciprocity.
So, and before that, you worked in?
Oh, in the heyday, in the 80s, in the fabulous 80s, the cocaine era across the world, I was with WBCN, the Rock of Boston.
Love it. Part of the Big Mattress crew, correct?
Yeah, the Big Mattress with Billy West and Charles Lacrodere and the whole Not Before Breakfast Big Mattress players.
I love it. You hear that voice. You typically are co-host, although she's been hit or miss lately. She's we don't know if she's in or out, is Kristen Perry Long, but I don't know where she is today. So we hope she'll be joining us, but she's not here yet. But she's here with us in spirit, right?
Yes,
Okay.
She is.
And as for me, my name is Andy Bernstein. I have been in media and broadcasting for over 2 decades. Wow. Developing media campaigns that address social issues, and mental health and addiction are 2 topics that are very important to me. Both in my family, we have addiction, and mental health is something that affects everyone, and it's just something that I'm pretty passionate about it. So we have a great show. It's abbreviated today, but we're gonna have some great talk. So, Willie, I got to tell you, I was.
Hey, I got to tell you.
No, I got to tell you, I was in LA last week. For a business and family function. Kristen Perry Long says she needs the info. Mike, can we send her the info if possible?
Of the show link and stuff?
Yeah. I flew back. I flew to LA last week, and it was a really weird experience for me. I hadn't been on an airplane since I had been on an airplane one time before the pandemic. And I flew to Florida, and that was it. Right? I flew, and then I came right back. I drove back. This one was weird because this was kind of in this, like, the pandemic's kind of winding down. We think, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I get to the airport, and I suck as a traveler. Right? I'm anxiety ridden from shocking. Right? I have such anxiety from the time leading up to the trip, but usually by the time I get to the airport, I'm pretty good.
I'm like a 5-year-old. My favorite thing are takeoffs and landings. I love those. We're moving. Yeah, no, it's like whee. I love takeoffs and landings.
We're moving.
And that's usually where people will really have the anxiety. Really. Do you get hit with takeoffs?
No. Or landings. No, I'm happy to get it both out there. No, I'm okay with that. It's
okay.
It's a lot of people, and it's just, I feel like you have to be very graceful to be on an airplane. There's a lot of finagling, and you have to move. You can't be, if you're clumsy, you're screwed being on an airplane. You're just screwed. in my opinion, like, cause I knock into people and
Yeah.
so anyway, so I'm in there and I start getting really, you know, stressed while I'm in the airport. And I start saying to myself, I can't do this, right? Because I'm going out there for something that was new for me, to do a
Mhm.
project that was new for me. I'm already stressed about it. I'm re entering into the world and I'm getting on a flight to fly 3,000 miles wearing a mask,
Yeah.
right? So my emotions really started to get the best of me. I started like really thinking I'm going to bail. One,
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
there would have been a time where I would have bailed altogether and not even
Really?
made the trip, or I would have made the trip or and then canceled the trip, or C, I would have gone to the airport, stood in
Hmm.
line, and
Hmm.
say, I got to get out of here, right? So what I started doing is
Hmm.
self talk in there.
Yeah.
I don't know what the and I'll tell you what I started doing. So I started telling myself,
Hmm.
you got this. You have been
Positive self-talk. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been an experience. I have experienced these things before.
Hmm.
I'm qualified for the work I'm doing. I
Yeah.
have the experience to do it. I reminded myself that I'm with good people. I'm with family out there who I'm actually working with and
Yeah.
also staying with. So I started, and I'm like, I really started to kick myself in the butt to say, you know what? Don't let your emotions go into yourself. Don't feed into your emotions, right? You got to go through it and really, push myself. And I've been doing that my whole life is where I'll push myself to power through stuff in a lot of cases. And not, I try to. And I guess it's a skill that I started to learn later as I got older. I know there's a term for it. I was going to ask Chris, but she's not here yet, but um, I wanted to see.
I'm here.
Oh, nice of
There
you
she
to
is.
join us. Oh, are you back in Florida or are you home?
I'm here.
Oh my God, the eagle has landed. The prodigal daughter has come home.
Yeah.
Um, but is there a self? We're going to hear from you in a minute. But is there some
Well,
kind
there's
of
self-affirmations.
yeah? But what is that? I mean, is that a skill? Is that cognitive behavior? Like, what is that? And is that for both of you working in the mental health space? Are those things that you try to teach people how
Yeah, I
to?
mean, I get people all the time that try to dialogue in front of a mirror and stuff, and they go, "Get out of here! That's ridiculous." I said, at the very worst, you're just going to start laughing, and if you're laughing, you're releasing endorphins. So, I mean, I do the Stuart Smalley bit. Stuart Smalley from SNL used to get in front of the mirror. I'm a good
People like
person.
me,
I'm a
right?
special, and gosh darn it, people like me and
Mhm.
stuff. I mean, at the very worst, all you're going to end up doing is laughing your butt off, which is good.
What's the worst going to happen? So I find myself. It was so crazy. I mean, I found myself in. So then I got into a zone. Then I found myself into really getting into a zone when I was out there.
Hmm.
I found myself in Inglewood, right? Like where the
Hmm.
forum is. I was like, does this thing buck this car? Like it was like I saw Crenshaw. I was
Yeah.
like, this is so cool. But I had to get off out of my own head
Hmm.
and encourage my own self to go and do something that was uncomfortable for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to share that because I knew, a lot of the mental health stuff is stuff that you can actually help yourself with, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The self-talk, the dialogue, I mean, it's okay to talk to yourself. I mean, it's okay to talk to yourself so long as it's your own voice. You're not responding to internal stimuli. It's okay to talk with yourself. What some professionals say is, well, it's the length of time you do it. If you do it throughout the whole day from the time you're awake till the time you go to sleep, yeah, maybe we need to talk about that a little bit.
Well, you're
So
ruminating at that point. You're ruminating, but I found it like it was very helpful for me, like being your own advocate for yourself,
yeah.
and not hear past tapes and stuff. So I guess that
Well, I
reframing.
mean, Yeah. I mean, men in particular, if we're depressed, it can come out, agitation and everything is negative, but it's actually, that for us can be a sign of depression too. If
What?
nothing's right. That doesn't matter. I don't care anymore. I mean, that can be, AA used to always talk about the dry drunk, where nothing's right, everything sucks, it's never going to change. And when you really take a step back and look at it, more often than not, it's agitated depression.
Interesting. Chris, what say you? Did you make it?
In one of the exercises I always do is to write their loved one a letter. And before you send that letter, stand in front of the mirror and read it out loud. And letter back and they will that letter to what started out as an angry letter down to really what the message was. You express all your anger, frustration, concerns, in that initial letter, and then you break it down, and it's, so talking to yourself isn't.
It's what? It's not a good thing?
No, it is a good thing. Talking
Okay.
it out, is a good thing. I think it helps us,
Sort
helps
things
us-
out.
yeah, it helps us sort things out. It's, see what's important, what's sticking out in our mind.
I was so annoyed, on the thing, because they said the flight attendant came by and said, "Oh, sir, it's a federal mandate to put your phone in airplane mode." I said, "It's also a federal mandate for social distancing, and you don't do that either." So she got because I was annoyed at this point. And then they don't serve drinks, they don't, so it's just a weird deal. Hopefully it'll change. But anyway, Chris, who are you? Just for the group.
By the
That's a
way,
good
Chris,
question. I don't even know who I am anymore. No. Obviously, my name is Chris Long, and I am a family educator for Aware Recovery Care, which is an in-home treatment facility. We're not really a facility. It's an in-home treatment program. We are a 52-week program that provides in-home addiction treatment.
You were a very dedicated individual who, is very passionate about this topic. So I thought of this article. So good to see you. I thought of this article. Or I thought of you when I read this article. So, and I'm going to share it. It came out on the 22nd of April. I don't believe we had a show that day, but it came out in the Main Wire. And I think, Mike, you have the website up there. There you go. And it's the drug overdose deaths skyrocketed to record levels amid pandemic lockdowns. And, we've talked
We
about
know this. We knew this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these studies came out, and they said that it shows that at least 87,000 people died from overdoses from October 19th to September 2020, which is a 29% increase from this previous period. And they said that this measure period includes the spring and summer of 2020, where we were in a widespread lockdown. And so they said that the biggest spike occurred in last April and May, when, there was the biggest shutdown. So, I mean, we not to beat a dead horse, and we would get in trouble if we beat a dead horse, but at the risk of beating the dead horse, if and I'm going to ask you both, I'm going to frame this up to you. If, rather than, we know the numbers are bad, we know what's going on. Is there something we can do and say, then it is what it is? If you two were heading up the opioid crisis for the government, and you had full reign to implement any policy you wanted, how would you attack this? If I threw the ball off to you,
100-day programs.
What's that?
100-day programs as opposed to 30-day programs. 100 days of continuous treatment. Because that's what, research coming out of Harvard is, you don't really see significant relapse rates drop unless somebody has 100 days of continuous treatment. It's not 30 days.
But what about
know.
before it even gets to that point? And then I want to hear.
I'd like to see more experienced clinicians working at detox level, because too often, that's your entry point oftentimes to addiction treatment is detoxification, and a lot of times that's where you have the least skilled clinicians are working at the detox level. And why is that? Because the money is horrible that they pay. So, and if you do have a master's, you're not going to be working on the floor. You're going to be on the administrative end, So, I mean, that's, if it's a state funded program, you're not going to get master's level people with good academic and clinical experience working the detoxes for, $13, $14 an hour. It's not going to happen.
Right. So then what do you
So why not have like a master's level working with two people that are relatively new? You know what I'm saying? Where you have some experienced people in with that crew that's actually working the floors in the detox.
Yeah, because this is like, I mean, that 87,000 number is what we know about. We don't even know the impact, to your point, to what Chris does. We don't know what the impact is on the families, right? We don't know the impact on this. And so it's really, we've done these shows. This is our 65th show. You and I, Willie, we did a show before. Mm-hmm. It's the same story day after day, same story. So, Trump was supposed to have a task force to really fight the opioid crisis. And then COVID happened. And so I know your patient counts are up with people you're seeing, or Yeah.
No, I mean, I just had on Facebook today, I just had a colleague of mine. She runs a site on Facebook's Essex County counselors, for those of us on the North Shore. And she dropped me a line on that and say, hey, I've got this young guy with bipolar depression. And I had to text her back and say, I'm turning back 5 to 10 referrals a week. I can't.
By the way, I sent you one of our FST person to call you, and you told her to go to Psychology Today.
Did she mention your name?
No.
What did she get, a special offer? What did she get?
No.
No.
I'm full. I'm full. But if there's somebody, that, like if I get a call from like you, or I get a call from certain places, it's like, all right, I can see you, but it's going to be 7 a.m. Yeah. I mean, I just, I got to try to fit in. It's horrible. Yeah.
She was like, he directed me to Psychology Today. And I'm like, what? I'm going to get with him. I'm going to get on him.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only thing, I'm full now, but if somebody wants to do a 7 a.m., then maybe I can squeeze them in. That's the point I'm at. It's just,
no, I know. It's crazy.
I'm going Monday, I'm going Monday through Saturday. Most of my therapist friends, they do Monday through Thursday. That's it. They don't do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And a lot of them.
Be careful, Willie, about burnout.
Well, that's why I'm coming up. I'm working this month of May, and then the first week in June, my wife and I, with her sister, my brother-in-law, we do our annual trip up to Maine. We rent a beach house. While I'm up there, I'm going to restructure everything, because it's real easy to. Yeah, I can talk to someone tonight at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock because I'm home, and it's like, yeah, then you end up blowing out your self-care and everything else. So once I get up to Maine, there's going to be a restructuring that goes on. But I'll do Monday through Thursday full, and I'll do like Friday half a day. But I've been doing Saturday mornings and stuff, which is killing my weekends. I can't really do anything around here because I'm killing, half of, part of my weekend time and stuff.
Yeah.
Chris, nice hand. I like the hand.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It was good.
Well, you sent me I needed the number. I wanted to go on my computer, and you just sent me the link. So I'm on my phone.
We're running an abbreviated show today. So tell me.
Okay, that's it, folks. Thank you. No, anyway.
Chris, so what would you do, Chris? What would you do if you could change things? And because now, as COVID goes, now the drug crisis comes back to full thing, and it
comes back. It's just going to be recognized again.
That's what I meant, right? It's gonna be, okay, well, now this is.
So I think what I would do is I would piggyback what what he said, obviously, what Willie said. And on top of that, then I would look into the aftercare, right? The long term. So where do they go in 100 days? If they get that 100 days, that's a great foundation. What happens? 100 days, you walk out with a bunch of business cards. You got to follow up. You don't have those relationships that are established where, with the therapist, with the psychiatry, with your primary doctor.
You know the interesting thing on that, Chris, too. When I worked at North Shore Medical Center in the partial there and stuff, I'd be doing groups, and like after a group, someone say, "Do you have a private practice?" And it was like, "Yes, I do." And it was like I couldn't solicit, but if they approached me, based on how they liked how I did the groups or whatever, then I could take them on as a client. So then you can have I have quite a few clients that began with me in the partial, and I followed them since.
Right.
Stuff. So then you can have that continuity. Yeah.
But how many times does that happen? You walk out with business cards, right? You're feeling great. You're, you're going back to work. Life is good. And then what happens? You start to slip back. So that's the beautiful part about Aware is we're 52 weeks, So if you come into us without that primary doctor, without that psychiatrist, without that, therapist, without that, whatever it is, we meet our clients where they're at, and then we walk with them. I think that's what needs to be available to the people that have the mass health that don't have insurance.
Maybe when they're in that 100 days, they start to work with your organization, so they can bridge it over. So for that continuity of care.
Exactly. I mean, that's the beautiful thing is, we take people from detox. We do not, if people go into like a treatment center and they do 45 days, 90 days, whatever it is, it's great when they come to us at that point, because then we're just that you don't have to have a criteria.
How do you get to these people, but how do you get to them before they even start? Right? That's the question.
Are you talking preventative?
Yeah. Like we're assuming, all right, well, these are.
I just want to back up a minute for something that Chris said too. One of the things too, how we have these shortage of therapists and everything else. It's like, I'm one of the few therapists in my building that takes all forms of mass health. A lot of therapists won't take mass health, and the reason for that being, if you're a no-show, I can't bill you if you're mass health, and the rate is lower than the commercial. The commercial,
which is ridiculous.
So you get therapists saying, "Oh, I want to make a difference in the world," and it's like, "Yeah, but you don't take mass health." Well, yeah, right. It's like, really?
Right.
I was talking about I was talking to a relative about this last night, and I was saying how, you have an overdose, right? It's we know someone, you, me, Chris. I mean, we know someone, and they have such a weird family dynamic. There is such a weird dynamic with this. It's like, where's the should there be more education with the families, to kind of make it a more, and I'm sure they have it.
I like the approach that Chris's organization does, where you're looking at the whole picture, the whole gestalt.
Yeah. The beautiful thing is about that is that they didn't, they did the study. They had Yale doing the study. They did the tweaking. They kept their Connecticut office small. They created the program 10 years.
Well, Connecticut's one of those states too that picked up that SAMHSA grant years ago, where they combine their mental health with their addiction, for continuity of care. Massachusetts, you have two fiefdoms. You have DMH and DPH, and they don't like to play in the same sandbox, and they definitely don't want to share their budgets.
That sounds that sounds like a problem, but it
is a problem. It's a huge barrier.
What do you think
about
that?
It's a huge barrier.
So this is my question. Remember when we were kids or younger, or I'm younger than you guys by a lot. I'm still a kid. Go ahead.
I
know, so am I. You remember Scared Straight? You remember that?
It doesn't work. You can't scare anyone for more than 10 minutes. That's like when they used to show those motor vehicle wrecks and stuff, and you were mortified, and it's like you forgot it 10 minutes later. You were off doing your own thing again.
I don't know. I'll tell you
it's like the DARE program was a failure.
Just Say No worked for me. That kept me away. But you know what else kept me away? My mom. My mom knew who I was friends with. She sized them up. She got me to if she didn't like who I was hanging out with, you know, she was always tracking me down. Where are you? Right? She was always. I used to get annoyed.
So if just say no worked for you, then you had something for Nancy Reagan, huh?
Yeah.
You thought Nancy Reagan was hot or something. Oh, I better not. Okay, yeah.
She probably just came from the hairdresser with that little thing on her head.
Yeah, the 60s, yeah. 60s look.
For her do was like properly.
And it never moved in the wind. Yeah, I know.
Never moved in the wind. But no, honestly, like I'm like sitting there, like my mom really paid attention to where I was, who I was.
But okay, so hold on for a second, right? Our moms lived in a time when we were able to be stay-home moms, where we were able to, and I'm not saying
She wasn't though. She was a working. My family. I had a stepfather.
No, I know the point Chris is trying to make. In the Reagan era, the Reagan era, he was always, espousing how since he was in office that per capita income per household had greatly increased, and it was because both parents had to work. Then we went through this whole scenario of latchkey kids that felt abandoned.
I was a latchkey kid. But like I was saying, like,
well, you were an exceptional one.
No, I was, and I don't even know how by the grace of God, I never got down a road. I didn't get down a road until, I was younger or a little older where, I would go to bars all the time and stuff like that. But when I was a kid, I never got caught up. I was always afraid. I never tried cocaine. The only thing I ever tried was pot. I never got caught up in any of that because I was scared.
Because of Nancy Reagan.
Yeah, I was scared. Like, you saw crack addicts walking the street. It's like, I don't want to be that person. Heroin's harder to quit than anything, right? So you see this and you're like, I don't want to touch this stuff, right?
Alcohol is harder to quit. Alcohol is the hardest drug to quit.
Yeah, and you could see, and I could see how people, and again, I had a built-in ripcord where I could like drink, but then I'd stop. Like I never drank by myself. I never had I had a ripcord where it's like, I'm going home. I've had enough. Right, I don't want to do that. I wouldn't keep going.
I didn't have that ripcord.
No, a lot of people don't. I had that ripcord where it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Or I'd throw up, and then it would be like game over. I wouldn't keep drinking. I don't know if that's like the quintessential game over at that point. Oh, you threw up. I don't know if people.
Yeah. I mean, the days in the comedy scene, I'd start drinking on a Friday, and then all of a sudden they'd say, "Hey, what day is it?" And they'd go, "Oh, Sunday." Oh, really? It's Sunday? We've been drinking that long? Crazy.
Yeah, but it is crazy because it's progressive, right? Look, to your point, alcohol is a progressive disease, and you could see very quickly, like you could go down a road and it's socially acceptable, right?
Yeah.
And, but what do you got? What do you Nipsey Hussle on there?
No, my whatever this is came on. Alexa came on.
So I thought this was a good chat. I know.
I'm always trying to improve.
All right, this is the all-time greatest. We had somebody making tuna fish sandwiches. We've seen your laundry. We've seen your contents of your laundry. So.
We've seen animals going by. You've been driving in a car.
Oh yeah, we saw that. She did it. Instacart.
Oh yeah, you drove with me to Florida.
Yes, that's right.
We drove to Florida. We've had
6 months ago. How crazy is that?
Wow. 6 months ago.
Yeah.
You're back, so we can get a walk-in, you and I.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I would love it. I'm happy you're back. It's good to see you, friend.
It's nice to see you too. And we got to get some good guests going here. Let's get some. We need to know what people want to talk about. It doesn't necessarily always have to be about.
What would the difficulty be? What would the difficulty be? And I know we briefly talked about it before, but to have like call in.
Yeah.
Well, I watch these guys, and I want to be mindful. I want to be mindful of everybody's time, but I watch these guys. They do a post-game show for one of the baseball teams, and it is like they have chats, so while we're talking,
right,
have chat going on, and people could say, and we can address that and say we should do that, like, oh, so and so from the the 508 says, what happens if so-and-so? So let's work.
How do they do that?
Hey,
You can do it through YouTube.
yeah, well,
Or Facebook.
Zoom,
Or
Zoom,
Facebook.
yeah.
Mike knows how to do all that.
Yeah. Andy, by the way, you're wearing a collectible polo shirt today.
I know it's a Joe Biden special.
It's a B square, and they're not made anymore. So you should definitely put that away and save it. That's
Yes,
a
they
collector's item.
Yes, they are.
Brooks Brothers out of business.
No, go to the outlets at Rentham.
Oh, they've still got leftover stock then, huh?
Yeah. Oh, I got it from Bargain. I got it from Bargain 19. Building
Bargain 19.
Building.
Bargain
All right,
19.
that's our show for the week. On that note, we will be back next week.
B square.
Hopefully we'll have a constructive conversation and not have our ADHD jump in every 4 seconds.
I know.
Or bipolar. Thank
you. All right, guys. We will see you next Friday on.
All right. I'll work on some guests over the weekend.
Okay.
Yes, and
Me
check
too.
us out on Facebook.
Hey, let's get Cheryl Janier from Team Sharing so she can talk about the Massachusetts SUD license plate.
Oh, they're coming out with an SUD license plate?
Yeah, they have it. Overdose awareness license plate.
Really?
Yeah, she got it approved.
Get them on the phone. Get them on the line. All
Yeah.
right.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Mike. Cue up the music. You've been listening and watching too.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy
Weekend.
Mother's
Yes. Happy Mother's Day.
Bye.